Everybody, this is Dr. Jesse Jackson III, best-selling author and creator of over 25 professional development programs that have served over 500,000 professionals throughout the nation. We're talking today to our superintendents and our principals about identifying the destructive organizational behaviors during what we call the first post-COVID school year. So going into 2021, we're going into the first post-COVID-19 school year. So the thing is, a lot of people were dealing with culture issues before COVID. Those just basically got worse. Or we've seen some organizations that got a break. So they didn't have a good culture, but soon as COVID hit, a lot of people just banded together and said they're going to do what they need to do. But what happened? They go back to their old ways. One of the things that we need to understand, we're not going to be able to tolerate toxic culture and deal with all of the issues that we have to manage. We have many challenges for 2021. You're talking about health and safety, employee morale, race management, trauma management, the health and safety of individuals. You're talking about learning loss. You're talking about distance learning. You're talking about new realities to the field of education. We can no longer spend the majority of our year managing the misbehavior of adults. That's what it comes down to. So what are the enemies of school culture, particularly in this post-COVID season? I mean, you're talking about a lack of team cohesion. People don't like to work together, and you should understand that is something you have to teach. You know, good team chemistry does not just happen because we're theoretical professionals. Team chemistry is something you got to work at as a superintendent, as a principal. The administrators are not believing they should be in school. So what we found was a lot of districts were met with resistance because the administrators on those campuses didn't want to be back. So the superintendent is saying, yes, we're coming back and we're doing X, Y, and Z, but the building principal themselves don't want to be there, and they're kind of playing the district against, us against the district. Toxic behavior, it doesn't work. That's no good. Failure to follow daily safety protocols. So we have all these protocols in place, but we won't follow them. Administration and district office, they're in discord, right? They're creating discord with the staff. That's what we just said. They're not on the same page. Public complaining, people going on the internet bashing their employer. That's egregious. It's unacceptable. And let me tell you something. If you're a superintendent or a principal, you are within your rights to always tell your workforce that's unacceptable, and you're not helping. You're not helping me when you go on social media and you bash your employer. Who bashes their employer? Who publicly bashes the hand that feeds them? It's horrible decision making. And there's some things we have to do about that moving forward. Using social media to air your workplace grievances, poor production, poor performance, people not working, people not giving us 100%. I like to call it doing what we pay you to do. There's no teamwork going forward, and then there's disloyalty towards management. Now, this does not mean you have to like management, but you show disloyalty by your lack of support for your supervisor. These are destructive behaviors in post-COVID season. If you've got these going on in your organization, folks, you fully have functional toxic behavior. Toxic behavior is very destructive if you're trying to build a program and catch up on learning loss. One thing I said during the COVID year is zero tolerance for internal conflict. If we've got people running their own program and thinking they're bigger than our school, you have to have a zero tolerance for internal conflict. We already have a lot going on out in the outside world, right? We're coming back to school, but we cannot. There has to be zero tolerance for internal conflict. That has to be a known zero tolerance. So these are 5 things that make for a successful environment post-COVID-19. Number 1, be a good teammate. Be a good teammate. You got to talk to your staff about these things. You got to understand, be a good teammate. We are all here going through this together. It is not a good teammate to complain. It is not a good teammate to frustrate your other coworkers. It is not a good teammate to try to air your grievances with your employer on social book or in the teacher's lounge where we shouldn't be anyway. That's not a good teammate. You got to be consistent. You got to communicate clearly. You have something to say, you can communicate it clearly. but all of the internal conflict doesn't work. If you got personal issues going on, manage all of your personal issues at the house. Don't bring your personal issues to the job. We don't have time for it right now. We're trying to help kids. Right now, we're managing a pandemic, and we're on the other side of it. It still has to be managed. We're going to be managing in the next 2 years. So your personal problems have to stay home. And most importantly, building your personal confidence, helping you build yourself up. Now more than ever, we're going to have to invest in our workforce and help that workforce to build itself up, because confidence is taking a real hit during this time. Not working on our craft, looking at some of the results we're getting. A lot of people are taking it personal. We have to build the confidence of our workforce, particularly if we want to see results. These are the 5 that I know work, and which means you have to, if you're a superintendent or a principal and you're trying to get people on the same page, you can't just assume that they're going to be on the same page. You can't just assume that everybody is running or is on the same culture, running the same culture. You have to invest in making sure that your workforce that you have a positive work environment, a positive culture and climate within your workforce. A lot of people think they're running schools, but you're running a workforce first. And you have to reestablish some things within that workplace culture. It's going to be pivotal to your success when you're managing all of the challenges you're going to have to manage with the distance learning, the learning loss, the attendance problems. These things are going to have to be managed, and they happen by setting a tone, which definitely has to be done by training. It sets a real tone. So typically in August, a lot of companies like to go for motivation. I always say that it's definitely the wrong road to go. We do 2-3 weeks of training, but you have to have foundational culture principles in there that brings the group together. You have to teach people how to work as a team. Working as a team and working together is a discipline. And you have to teach people how to do it. You can't assume because people have a college degree, they know how to work together. As a matter of fact, in the field of education, we probably work least together than any other profession, because our profession is predicated on singular, meaning you work alone in your classroom. Typically don't work with other people, so you have to invest in it. Our positive workplace culture and climate training program is exactly that. It's about focusing on working together, improving team culture, and eliminating that toxic poison that culture, flushing it out of the organization. We can't have internal conflict moving forward. And I can say to you, this is one of our most effective programs that we've ever had, because it really draws the line and shows people what's not helping. I'm very, very proud of how this session's been rated, because what it's doing is it's showing professionals how to be professional. It's showing them expectations professionally and how we do things. And that's what has made it what it is. As always, what's our expectation? We like to start with management first. We like to have the culture, climate, team talk with the leadership team. The one thing that I did see during COVID was that many school leadership teams were not on the same page. As a matter of fact, some of the most toxic relations I've ever seen in this business. You can't be successful on a campus if that school administration team is not pulling in the same direction. So we like to first start with the sessions. We like to start with the school admin team or the district admin team, then work to the staff. That's what I know will get you exactly what you're looking for. This year, we're playing a full schedule. I'm still traveling and I'm still doing virtual. So it really depends on what the organization wants and what you feel best. One of the things that's come out of COVID is that a lot of organizations have realized that a better use of their training time is virtual. They found that that's better for them, and that's a positive. So we're flexible, and the time, we're flexible on that. When you know a day, let us know early. We're able to try to work. If we can work around it, if we can do it, we will. If we can do it, we will. That's the most important thing. So listen, if you know this is something you need, please act immediately. Get in there, send your email, send a call. Let's get on the schedule. let's get it worked out. If you know you want to give your staff a competitive, fresh, good start, and to have them to start with the team principles, the team concept, understanding that toxic behavior is counterproductive to our environment, this is the training that will help give you the jump start and the movement you need towards going where you want to go in this post-COVID school year. We're making history. If you know we can help you, we would love to work with you. Call us today. I'll see you in class.